Hello, this is Stampy, and welcome to another Let's Talk. And today I'm talking about the idea of making friends, as well as just friendship in general a bit. And so there we go. I'm finally not doing a Let's Talk about something to do with YouTube for once. And this is a topic that quite a lot of people ask questions about. Some people kind of wanted a little bit of advice on how to make friends, or kind of just how to deal with friendships and kind of different types of friends that they might have. And it's a really difficult thing to talk about because I don't know what situation you're in. It's hard to give advice which is going to be actually meaningful. So I'm going to be kind of a little bit vague and kind of try and cover all areas here because I don't know your situation. I can't go too specific. So I think I'm going to start off with the thing that might be the obvious thing, but I think I should say it, and that is that you should always be yourself. Because the reason why you should be yourself isn't some like moral thing, be yourself, don't change yourself for other people. It's not that. The reason why you should be yourself is because you can't really not be yourself. Because, if you're putting on an act or trying to be something that you're not, like, you're not going to keep it up. Like, you're not going to make a true friend, a true long-term friend being an act. At some point you're going to relapse and end up being, whatever you're really like, and it's just not going to be any fun. If you're trying to act cool or act different, to the way, you normally are, like, you're just not going to enjoy yourself, and you're not going to make real friends. You're going to make friends that are like what you're trying to be like rather than what you really are. So obviously be yourself, but that doesn't mean that you should always be the same in every situation. And what I mean by that is what I did when I was at school is I kind of acted slightly differently, depending on who I was with. And it's not that I wasn't always being myself, it's just I was always being myself, but the person I was, was slightly different depending on who I was with. And, that would, be to do with things like, what I'll talk about, kind of the types of jokes I would make, just kind of the topics I would talk about, how personal I would talk about myself. And so kind of with my real closest group of friends, I think I was just me. I was just 100%, talk about whatever I want. We all trusted each other. And then, if I was with someone who, might not understand our hobbies, when I was at school, a lot of the school kind of didn't think that playing video games, was particularly cool. And so I had my, nice group of nerdy friends, and, that's what we'd talk about all the time. We'd go around each other's houses and play games, but when I was with like the jock type people, the people like playing footballs, the people that, don't share the hobby, like I wouldn't go up to them and start chatting to them about Mario, so I think you can be yourself, but the self that you are, can kind of be altered, depending on, what situation you're in. Like another extreme example of that is when I went to university, and kind of the topics I would talk about and the way I would act, was very different when I was with my classmates at university compared to in the evenings when I was working in a pub at the time. And so the types of people that were going into the pub were kind of like, even though it wasn't that far away, it was kind of like another world from the types of things I talk about, in university. And so, I was still me, and I still made friends in both situations, but I kind of, acted, differently. So there is a balance you can make, where you do want to be yourself and you want to stick to your morals, and, you want to really focus on the interests that you actually have. So you are yourself, but you can kind of act slightly differently depending on who you're with, and like a big thing is just the jokes, the humor you have, like the types of jokes, I would make with someone I've known for years are very different to the types of jokes, that I would make with someone that I've literally only just met. And I actually kind of talked about this a little bit in the last episode that I did of Let's Talk as well. So that's kind of the main thing that I wanted to talk about. I think that if you're going to a new place, or you're starting at a new school, if you're starting at a new job or whatever, I think the most important thing I'd say is to not try too hard. Or even if you're not starting at a new place, but you just feel like you're just struggling to make friends or relate to people, I think if you kind of go out your way to try and be overly friendly, or try to, if you try too hard to make friends, you might kind of come across as being like a little bit too forward or a little bit too pushy, and I think that can ultimately push people away. I think acting the way that you just normally act and the way you would act if you were friends with them anyway, I think is the best way to go about it. And then the big thing you just really need to do is to try and find someone who has a similar interest with you. If you for example really like playing Minecraft, and if you're watching me, there's a good chance you do. You want to try and find someone else that likes playing Minecraft, or gaming, or if you really love playing a specific sport, you want to find someone who shares a hobby that you have, and then that's a very easy way to start talking to someone who you haven't really spoke to before. If you notice someone reading a book, and it's a book series that you like, you can say, well, where have you got up to? I've just got up to this bit. Oh, what did you think about this character? Whatever it is, whatever your interests are, try and find someone who shares, the interests that you have, and try and make friends that way. It's much easier to do online because it's much easier to find out other people's interests and kind of start conversations with them, but it can definitely be done in the real life as well. And then the other thing I want to say about is that you can have different types of friends. So, I have certain friends who I kind of consider like my closest friends, and it's not that like, oh, I like them more. It's just people that I've spent a certain amount of time with, or I have a certain amount of trust with, that I can really, I would speak to them about anything. I would trust them that if I told them something personal, they wouldn't share it, and you can have that level of friendship. And then there's also the level of friendship where, it's just fun. There's people that you hang out with them, just for the enjoyment of hanging out with them. You kind of have a laugh with them, but, maybe you wouldn't, tell them about, all of your worries, where you would your closer friend. And I think it's important to try and have a balance of both types of friends. It's much easier to get friends that you can always just have a laugh with. It's much harder to get the friends that you can really trust. And so I wouldn't try and force that type of friendship. I think you're going to kind of know when you're just so compatible with someone that you can kind of feel like you trust, them to tell them whatever you want. And I'd just say be patient, because say if you're, for example, let's say you're at school, and let's say there's 500 people in your school. 500 people sounds like a lot of people, but if you think about how many people are in the world, the chances of you meeting, the person who is most likely to be your best friend, it's quite slim that they would actually be going to your school. So if you really feel that you haven't made a really close friend or had a really close connection with someone at school, and or work or whatever, like that, don't worry about it. That doesn't mean, oh, you can't make friends. You just might not have met, the person who, you are going to become close friends with. But, there's plenty of time, in the future to be able to make that. So I'd say don't worry about it too much. As I said, be patient. Don't try too hard. Try and find someone who shares interest. Try and spark up a casual conversation with them, and then hopefully that way you'll be able to make some friends. So I don't know. Hopefully this did help you. It's something that I've not really thought about too much. All through school, college, uni, and then work. Now YouTube. I guess. I've always just made friends, I think, quite naturally. So it's something that I've never really put too much thought in. So it's only when I kind of sat down to make this video did I really think about, well, what am I kind of just doing anyway? What do I just happen to be doing, or how do I happen to be acting, which is, allowing me to, I think, meet cool people, and be able to make some really nice friends. So this is just kind of what I think. Of course, as always, please leave down in the comments down below just your thoughts on the opinion, any advice that you might want to give, or just any questions that you want to ask, any advice from me or kind of anyone else in the comments. We can kind of start up a discussion like I always like to do in these Let's Talk. And that's pretty much it for this week. As always, leave more comments down below for any future things that you would like me to talk about in one of these Let's Talks. But for now, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye!